okapi. So even though those okapis have those white stripes on their legs, kind of like a zebra stripe, they are the closest living relative to the giraffe. Now, some adaptations they share with the giraffe are their very long tongues, which are long enough to reach their ears, and the ossicones on their head, which are those horns they have. But the okapi was not known to the Western world until around 1901, so they're really good at hiding. They were once thought to be a mythical creature, kind of like a unicorn. On the left side are greater kudu. The greater kudu is the second tallest antelope in Africa. They're about 5 feet tall at the shoulder. And it looks like the ones out here are females, because only the males are going to have horns. And those horns can grow to be around 6 feet long in a cool spiral. So we are passing by some large watering holes out here. We're going to be passing by a lot of watering holes today because they are central gathering places for animals out here. So let's keep a good look out for some more around. Pretty solitary animals too, and they also have a cool upper lip. The black rhino's upper lip goes out to a point, and its prehensile helps them grab onto their food. Kind of acts like a little finger. But unfortunately, rhinos are here called these bongos the ghosts of the forest because they are rarely ever seen. They hide away in the thick brush most of the time, so they have those horns help make their way through. Those horns are pointed backwards so they don't get stuck, and they also can use them to dig up some roots to eat. Both the greater kudu and the bongo do have white stripes on their back. That is part of their camouflage. It kind of looks like the sun peering through the leaves when they're trying to blend into their surroundings. So those hippos are going to end up spending around 20 hours a day in the water, protecting their skin since they can sunburn. You can usually find the hippo up on land at nighttime. That's when they go out to eat. Hippos can eat up to around 150 pounds of vegetation a day, and they can walk up to 7 miles trying to find all that food. So up there on the island and swimming around, those are pinkback pelicans. They do still have a little bit of a pinkback right now because it's towards the end of their mating season, but there can be anywhere from 20 to around 200 nesting pairs in the same area. Those pelicans out there, they use those flaps, the skin under their beaks, as a net to catch their food. So once they catch those fish, they are going to filter out the water and they just swallow those fish whole right then and there. They're also one of the hours, they're just a little bit slower than a cheetah. They also have the ability to jump 6 feet straight up into the air to 13 feet into the air if they're moving forwards. Now every once in a while you can see this little springbok constantly jumping up and down as they move along. That is called pronking, and they usually do that whenever they're happy, sometimes when they get spooked.
Yeah.
So we might be able to get a little bit closer to those giraffes out here as we go along. But we're going to take a quick look over at this cave and see if there's anything hiding around the cave here. As hunters out here, they're a lot better at hunting than any of the large cats since they have their packs which range from around 5 to sometimes 20 dogs. So they're going to end up having around a 90% success rate in hunting. Those dogs don't really bark, they just end up squeaking and chirping at each other. So they sound like squeaky toys all the time, and sometimes like little puppies. The emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, their horns can grow to be around 4 feet long. They do have that reddish-brown fur, so those are going to be females. And whenever these sable antelope decide to start migrating around the savanna, those herds end up being led by those females. There is a giraffe taking a little drink of water over here on the left side. So all the giraffes out here are Maasai giraffes. You can tell by those very jagged and irregular spots they have. There are 4 different species of giraffes with 9 subspecies, but each is going to end up having its own special spot. Fully grown, the giraffes are going to be outright tongues too. A giraffe's tongue is around 18 inches long, and it's prehensile, so some wrap around the branches to pull up all those leaves. It's also very dark purple, almost black color. That prevents their tongue from getting sunburned, since giraffes are going to end up eating for around 20 hours a day. Since giraffes eat for so long, it doesn't really leave them much time to sleep. A giraffe is going to end up sleeping around 30 minutes every day. They're not going to sleep all 30 minutes at once, they just take a lot of short naps, so usually while standing up, so it's pretty rare to see a giraffe sit on the ground somewhere. And usually if you do, it's going to end up being one of the younger giraffes. Here on the left side, or 2 juveniles on the left side here, and there is the male on the right side. Now that male is going to weigh around 2,000 pounds because he is all muscle. He does have the ability to jump 8 feet into the air to get away from a predator.
Wow. Huge. Wow.
a large type of monkey out here. They are one of the only monkeys that use facial expressions like we do. So to show friendship, they will bare their teeth. So they smile to show friendship, and to show aggression, they kind of slap their hands against the ground, throwing a really big fit. The alpha male Nangil has a very colorful face, kind of looks like Rafiki's face a little bit, but he also has a very colorful backside that matches, so you know that he is a guy in charge whichever way he is. When a male elephant reaches maturity anywhere from 9 to sometimes 15 years old, he gets pushed out of the herd that he grew up in, he goes off by himself, or he might just join a bachelor group. And he stays like that until another herd comes and invites him in. Well, there's a little elephant view, so you might be able to get another view as we go around this curve here. But elephants do have one of the longest pregnancies. They are pregnant for 22 months. And when that baby is born, it's going to end up weighing around 300 pounds. But the little baby in that herd is just about 9 months old. Now, our conservation team has discovered that elephants are afraid of bees. Elephants don't like the sound that the bees make, so farmers are starting to build fences out of beehives. So if the elephants get too close to the crops, they will trip a wire, which will aggravate those bees, and that in turn scares away the elephants. It's a little bit nicer way of keeping them out on the farms, because the old way was just to poach them. But unfortunately, almost 96 elephants a day are poached for just their tusks, which are made of ivory. That's a time. Coming up on this island, there's also our hatched gray. They end up getting that pink coloration from all the brine shrimp that they eat, which is full of beta-carotene. So it's going to take them roughly around a year, sometimes 2, to turn that pink color. You can see a couple of those flamingos with their heads upside down in the water. The flamingo is a filter feeder. So they're just filtering that water through those beaks, eating up all those small crustaceans out there. But that's with white stripes. There are a couple of zebra species out there that are mostly white with black stripes too. They use those sharp tusks in their hooves to burrow into the ground to make their homes, but most of the time they end up stealing those burrows from other animals like the aardvark. But when they go into sleep at nighttime, they back into their burrows so those tusks face outwards to get off any predators coming around about 10 feet in front of them, but they are able to charge at 35 miles an hour. Since they have such bad eyesight, they have super good hearing, so you can see those ears switching back and forth, picking up all those sounds that are around. But those rhinos can sunburn just like we can, so they like to roll around in mud. The mud out here will drink water. They can go up to 9 months without drinking any, and their bodies will not start sweating until their internal temperature reaches 115 degrees. But I'm thinking that's just about all this area does have.
What time is Look right there. Back there underneath the palm tree. Oh my God!